What's up, Nimrods? Welcome. Here's what we're going to be talking about today.
What's going on, everybody? I'm here with Trey Cockrum, one of my best friends. One of those people who you think he's like 35 years old because he has so much wisdom, but
cool
he's actually
jackets.
and cool jackets. But he's actually got he's the same age as me.
Right.
Trey Cockrum. Even back to the age of like when you're 12 years old, like you were actually having a business. You're operating lemonade stands. When you're 13 years old, you were you're doing graphic design for companies. You're managing a team of 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
And then when you turn 15, you started to get into photography, but you're like, I feel like I can make a lot more money doing wedding photography. So when 16, you started doing wedding photography, and you've just really scaled that thing up to a wedding photography business that not most people have. I mean, you have a community of thousands. I'm probably almost 10,000.
We're coming up on 10,000 people in my Facebook group.
So almost 10,000 people, 10,000 wedding photographers that you're educating daily, and now you're just sort of scaling on what's been working for you. So Trey, tell me your story. So you've had a lot, you've overcome a lot of challenges, you've had some really awesome successes, but I want to know the story of Trey Cockrum.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess it sort of starts with maybe I began to become really self-aware around middle school, as a lot of people do. Right. Middle school is sort of that time where you're able to look in a mirror for the first time in your life, and you sort of realize the things that you are and the things that you aren't.
Sure.
And the things that you aren't are magnified because you have, you're hitting puberty, you got hormones, it's hard, it's rough, and so like you have these feelings. So I would say that at 13, 14, maybe 12 as well, I was pretty depressed. As a lot of kids are, but it hit me on a certain level because for me it was a block because I saw so much of what I could be. I had a lot of people in my life that were really successful and a lot of people in my life that were doing great things, and I felt like what I wasn't doing was magnified under the light of that. And so it was a huge uphill battle for me to begin to do things. That graphic design business was one of the first things that really struck me as like, okay, I can be doing things. I could be selling something, I could be creating value for people, making friends, and I would bring in, as a 13-year-old kid, like $200 or $300 a week, doing graphic design, random gigs. Like I signed up like for Fiverr, if you guys know what that is, and I signed up. I just had a decent Twitter account, and that's where I found my clients. About 16, 15 years old, I picked up a camera and began shooting weddings, and I basically started by reaching out to the wedding photographers and saying, hey, look, let me help you, let me shoot for you, let me bring value to these people and make them as my friends, and they became my mentors. And I hopped into the wedding photography train and started making good money there. And I'm on my way out of that now. I was doing it for about maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And I think the main thing that's shifted recently, and Jeremy actually showed up, but our family's gone through a lot recently. We had a house fire recently, and that's one of the things that really sort of kicked me in the butt. Like, all right, I realized how close I came, number 1, to dying. Number 2, to basically losing my family. And number 3, I saw all my physical possessions sort of they're gone. And so the fire really detached me from things of physical nature, and began to realize that it's, without sounding as hippie as possible, like your power is truly from your willpower. Your power comes from your discipline and your ability to build yourself up and rely on God, rely on family, rely on sources to pour into you, right? And so I realized, like, man, okay, I lost all my stuff, I lost a lot of my clothing, lost a lot of my camera gear too, which was a huge hit in the chest. And I realized, like, all right, what am I gonna do? How can I bounce back from this? And I hated the idea of that being a reason for me to give up. I actually loved the idea of me coming back, like rising back like a falcon and like sticking it in the face. I think everyone needs to have that happen to them, and I think I needed that to happen to me. And so I'm almost grateful that it did, because now I wake up with a fire under my butt every morning, and I'm just excited every day. What I'm most excited about right now is I'm scaling the YouTube platform that I have right now. I've taught wedding photography on there for a long time, and actually I think we were gonna hit. I sell a wedding photography course too, which is what a lot of my money's coming from right now. It's $300, and I'm selling a couple a day, so it's pretty nice.
And so what were the biggest? I mean, you talked about some of the challenges, depression and the fire. Would you say those are the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome?
No.
Okay.
There are some other challenges. I think there's a lot. There's actually a lot. I was 8 years old, and my mom got in a car accident. She has post-traumatic stress from that car accident, and is basically bedbound, and hasn't been able to like be active in the way that she wishes to be for a very long time. So it's not to say that I've been raised by my father. Absolutely not. My mother's an incredibly strong woman. She's involved, man. She's involved more than some women without her condition, right? But the reality is I almost lost my mom, and as well, not only did I almost lose my mom, but I realized how precious that relationship is, which made me as a young kid realize just how precious relationships are.
Right. So what were some mistakes, or it doesn't have to be as dramatic as this big failure, but what were some business mistakes that you made that, yes, you learned a lot, but you might regret it a little bit?
But I think the main failure would probably be just not acting soon enough. I had so many opportunities as I was going through middle school and young high school, and I'm just like, why didn't I start this when I was 14? I don't understand.
Right. So what were some of the major successes that you had, and what was like the one nugget that you learned from that success?
I mean, when my first wedding client paid me upwards of $2,500 as a 16-year-old kid, I was like, all right, yeah, okay, I can see now, you know?
Right.
So now I'm realizing, like, holy cow, if I just keep milking that, if I keep working that success and just branching it into better things, where will I be when I'm 30? That's really the goal. It's not like, where am I going to be this year? It's like, I want to be in a good spot when I'm like 40 or 50.
Absolutely.
You know?
So what are you most excited for? So looking towards the future, what?
Corvette Stingray.
Yes.
What gets me up in the morning, man, is just pure, raw, driven, self-instilled discipline and passion.
Yes. What's some advice that you would have, that you'd give to them? Not even just for young entrepreneurs, but just anyone who's wanting to pursue other streams of income or wanting to pursue opportunities. What's the 30 seconds of advice that you'd give to them?
I like to believe that wherever you are, no matter what you're doing, whether you enjoy it or not, you're putting 100% of your effort into it. I think the main thing for me would be make it about other people as often as possible. Don't make it about you. If you make it about you, you've already lost. The game is ultimately making it about other people as consistently and as efficiently as possible. Efficiency, like literally set up systems in your business so that everyone who comes through feels well served and well treated.
Sure.
A lot of people make it about themselves very quickly, and you're gonna lose. But yeah,
make it about yourself, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
It was awesome, Trey. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, dude. That was sweet.